Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Richard from WELSHYTECH, and today we have the Intel Core Ultra 270K Plus and 250K Plus. Should you buy these? How good is the performance? Well, let's find out, shall we? Okay, so when it comes to actual specs, the 270K Plus, it is a 24-core, 24-thread desktop processor. It's got 8 performance cores, 16 efficiency cores. It's built for LGA 1851. The actual key specifications, clock speeds, max turbo frequency up to 5.5 gigahertz cache and cores with 40 megabyte of L2 cache with a 36 megabyte L3 cache. The power draw on this is 125 watts at base power. We're scaling up to 250 watts of max turbo boost. This does support DDR5 up to 7200 mega transfers with a PCIe 5.0, which is mainly for modern GPUs as well as modern storage. Now, this is widely considered, obviously, the most recent of Intel, but this is fantastic for gaming, or it's more towards the gaming as well as the productivity side of things. Now, when it comes to the actual 250K Plus, well, this one by here is actually more the mid-range when it comes to actual CPUs. Now, this does support DDR5 at 7200 megabit transfers again, as well as the actual cores. It has 6 performance cores with 12 efficiency cores. It does have cache up to 30 megabytes of L3 with 30 megabytes of L2 cache. The max turbo boost up to this is 5.3 gigahertz with a power base at 125 watts with a turbo boost or maximum turbo boost at 159 watts. This one will be more towards the mid-range CPU market. This will be identical in the same category as the 9000X from AMD. Okay, so when it comes to the actual test bench or what parts I use for testing, well, it is the ASRock Z890 Riptide Wi-Fi motherboard. I did use 32 gigs of Trident Z RGB DDR5 at 7200 mega transfers per second, which was at XMP. When it comes to the actual storage, I did use a 2TB Gen 5 drive from Apacer. Obviously, the graphics card I use in this system was an RX 7800 XT. The power supply in the actual bench system is a 1200 watts from Enermax, and it is housed in the B-Quad Shadowbase 800 FX. And I did use the 140 Frost Tower from Thermalright for the thermals. Okay, so when it comes to testing, I've done a bunch of testing. I've done Cinebench 2026, I've done Geekbench 6, I have done 3D Mark CPU benchmark, I've also done Far Cry 6 High Ultra at 1080p with Marvel Spider-Man 2, that was at high, and I've also done Hogwarts Legacy at 1080p ultra settings, and I've also done some thermals as well as actual power draw. So what we'll do is we'll get into the Cinebench. Now, as for the Cinebench, I'm going to put both results here for the 250K as well as the 265K, because the 250K is like an in-between both, so you're gonna get to see that. So for the 270K, for Cinebench R26, we get a single core at 591 with a multi-core at 9739. The Geekbench 6 was a single core at 3319 and a multi at 23,277. So for the 3D Mark CPU bench, we had a max thread at 19,145 and a single at 1353. Gaming, Far Cry 6 1080p Ultra, we had an average of 174 with a 1% low of 136. Now, for Marvel Spider-Man 2, that was high 1080p. The average was at 183 with a 1% low of 158. Hogwarts Legacy, the average was 115 with a 1% low of 100, and that was also a 1080p ultra settings. And then as for the actual thermals and the overall power draw, the 270K did have a power draw of 245 watts, so the max temp at 84 Celsius. And if you see the differences between this and the 265K, the difference in power is significant, as well as it's different to the 250k. The 250k is more the mid-range, but it's also not that bad when it comes to gaming primarily, because it keeps up with Far Cry 6, but then it just completely blows both of them out the water when it comes to Marvel Spider-Man 2. I had to run that 3 times. It was 195 with a 1% of 173. That is bonkers. It blew both CPUs out of the water, and then that just shows that the 250k is primarily for gaming. So obviously with multi-threaded tasks and stuff, obviously both the 265k as well as 270k just absolutely batters the 250k. It just blows it out the water. There's no comparison there. There's thousands of different when it comes to score in Cinebench 2026 with Geekbench, as well as 3D Mark CPU benchmark. It just completely does not hold up water with multi-core or single-core results. Okay then, so what did you think of that? Yes, went through a lot of testing, thermals, actual power draw, synthetic benchmarking. We went through CPU, core performance, multi-thread, single-thread, and I personally think the overall one that actually shine out of all 3 of these CPUs I tested is the 250k. For gaming, it's fantastic. It's really, really good for gaming. The multi-core as well as single-core performance, obviously the 270k and the 265k just completely blew the 250k out of the water. There was just no comparison. There was no comparing them when it comes to multi-core or single-threaded performance. The both top CPUs just completely kicked its butt. So that's where probably where the 270k actually comes in handy. It's fantastic at gaming, but it's also good at the multi-threaded tasks you want to do. Gaming, editing, those type of things. That's what the 270k is for. That is where I think it would shine the best, because it's a balanced CPU. It's good at gaming and it's fantastic multi-threaded work. So that's where I think the probably the best one is for you. But obviously, if you're going to go for a budget, more of a budget option CPU, the 250k, that just completely games completely. It blew both the 270k and 265k in Marvel Spider-Man. It just completely blew both of them out the water. It did fantastic in all the benchmarking for the games. Even the TDP and the frequency were exactly what they said they were, which is fantastic. Now, pricing, the 250k is £200. So that is in the 9600X from AMD's territory, because that one is between the 160 to £200 mark. So it's in that territory for gaming. The 270k, that is £300. That's more in the upper end or higher end CPU market part, because that's like the 9900X like type of caliber of CPU from the 9900X is around £350 now. So this is close to that. I might have to actually do a video to show how good this how both compare, because I got the 9900X here. It's in my main computer, so I might actually do that maybe and see how good they are compared to each other using the same RAM as well as similar hardware. So yeah, I might do that video. If you guys want to see that, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know. But the shining star of this is the 250k. That's a fantastic chip. It games like an absolute monster. Fair play to it, I will say that. I was quite shocked with the overall performance, but it's not bad for £200. Well, actually, both of them aren't bad either. So, yeah, look, if you guys want to buy either one of these, I'll leave links down below. I'd like to say a big thank you to Intel for sending over the kit for me. I do really appreciate it. I wanted these before launch, but obviously that just couldn't happen, so I had to have it a few weeks later. But a big thank you to them. And as always, I hope you guys have a fantastic week and weekend ahead of you. Don't forget to subscribe, because I've got absolute tons of stuff coming. This is Richard for WELSHYTECH. Goodbye.